Our first ever sponsor, Don't Hide the Plug. Don't Hide the Plug is an apparel company co-founded by two brothers from Flatbush, Tafari and Rossi Harper. Now these two black brothers have created an amazing, inspiring, high-quality brand. Now you see on Infominds, a lot of our content is New York based. We love New York, so it's only fitting that we partner up with a New York based brand. Don't Hide the Plug. Now they got some fire fitted hats, hoodies, t-shirts, and I'm feeling the old New York design with the bridge logo. They got the clout joints, the dad hats, and you can also have them delivered to you in the resealable merch by the pound bags too. Now mind you, they might be New York based, but their apparel is for everyone, whether you're from New York, Miami, Texas, Chicago. It's a grassroots movement. Get in tune. And they offer free shipping on all domestic orders of $75 or more. But if you enter the exclusive Infominds promo code, you'll get an additional 10% off at checkout. You already know I ordered my package. My package is on its way. So I'll be wearing and showcasing the Don't Hide the Plug apparel in my next live. Go out and support these brothers. Check out their website. I put the link in the description box. Don't Hide the Plug.
Peace community, peace community. Welcome to another episode of One Community. If you're new, welcome to the community. If you're a part of the community, welcome back. You know we couldn't do it without y'all. You know them times in the day. Hold on, wait a minute, y'all. Excuse me. King Jaffe Joe for everybody. King Jaffe, love for everybody to be loved. Oh, what a feeling to be loved. That's what we doing. Nothing but love. That's the type of energy that I am into. And today I have a lovely, beautiful guest. A queen is rocking with me. Today I have the beautiful and talented Kat with me from the UK. And we're going to have this thing.
Hello.
Jaffe, hold up. Let me hit you with the Jaffe. You know we got to lay the roses out for the queens, the king, everybody in the chat, all of the great leaders in the chat, and all of the great people that step onto the platform and the panel to have these kinds of discussions. You know, we're going to have a discussion based upon something that's been a discussion going on that I've been getting from a lot of black women, you know what I'm saying? As well as I've heard from also black men. So it's not like a thing that is just predominantly black women are saying this and crying out. Black men are also saying that, you know, they feel that a lot of black men are more prejudiced towards black women than even white men and white women. You know what I'm saying? And it stirred, you know what I mean? A real sense of intriguing me to say, damn, you know, is that a real thing? You know, I see a lot of it on the internet for a fact. On the internet, on the YouTube, for a fact. We say, yeah, man, we seeing a lot of that on the internet. You know what I mean? People banging on each other. How do you feel about some of these things like that, or titles like this, or topics like this, Kat?
Do you know what? Like you just saying, I've been hearing a lot of this kind of rhetoric going around YouTube lately. Mm-hmm. There seems to be, I don't know, how can we put it? Inability for some black men and black women to have honest conversations and really have real conversations with each other without it turning into
a shit show.
Yeah, shit show, competition, shouting each other down.
It's that, a measuring stick.
Yeah, and it's been going a lot around, I think, because of a lot of the topics that are being addressed lately, and it's bringing out a lot of passion amongst the sexes, you know, and there's definitely contention there. So I'm really interested to hear this conversation, because I've heard it, like you say, from black men and from black women from all over the place. So yeah, it'll be interesting just to see. Actually, I would love to hear from more black men, actually, and whether they actually feel they get heard,
right?
If their concerns get addressed and given the same maybe limelight that some women have been getting recently. So that would be interesting too, to hear that side. So yeah, I'm here for it.
We're definitely here. We calling out to the black men. We calling out to the queens. You know, you could always come up too, but we calling out to the black men. Anytime Octavia's Prom even pull up around here. Step up. You know what I'm saying? Like, we calling out the black man all, you know what I'm saying? To tell us what you thinking about this situation. What do you think about this topic? How do you feel about, you know, black men and black women and the dynamics? You know, we got this red pill, we got the blue pill going on. We got a lot of banging going on both sides. Do I agree with the manosphere or the womansphere? No, I don't. I'm against both of them. I'm gonna tell you the truth. Stand. You got to make stands on shit. I'm against that because I think that brings us down as a people. You know what I mean? Do the manosphere make points? Yeah. Do the womansphere make mad real points? Yes, they do. So, you know what I mean? You're gonna see points everywhere. Even the person, your hater might make a right point. You know what I'm saying? You might be able to give your hater like, you right though. I did not tie my shoes that day. You know what I'm saying? If your hater could give you a right point. So it just depends. You know what I'm saying? So I most definitely want y'all to step up and join us live now. I want you to come up now, Prime. Trips, I want everybody to come up now. These are the conscious conversations, you know what I mean? These are the conversations we need to have. You know what I'm saying? This is the conscious communications that we need to have. But these are topics, not just topics for me to drill and lecture nobody. These are bills for us all as melanated people to come together to see how we feel about this thing, what we can do to go about changing this thing. What is your view? How has this affected you as a man or a woman? Shout out to Prime. Wait, Prime. Jaffe Joe. Jaffe Joe. You know that, Jaffe.
What's going on, everybody?
Peace, Octavius. How you doing?
How you doing?
What's going on, my brother?
What's going on?
I'm glad that the king stepped up here too. All the kings, all the queens are able to step up. Let's make this panel fill up and let's talk about what we have to talk about. I'm going to keep edging y'all and urging y'all to come up. It's crucial. It's critical that we lift our voices now. All right. First phase of community. I've been understanding to y'all that it's out there and we can come up here and it's a freedom. But right now, it's our own due diligence. We have to be doing this. We have to do the research. We have to come up here and do this. We have to talk about these topics because it's nothing going to change if we don't. I'm a person that loves to learn. I know many things about history. Everything I've learned, I probably learned before the age of 17, 18 years old. I probably have not read a book since 19 years old, son. So anything you think I'm telling you, I've studied diligently and I learned at a time. You know what I'm saying? So, yo, the thumbnail on that is, I mean, her profile picture on Trip C is so funny. Yo, Jaffe Joe for Trip C. Jaffe, coming to America. If you don't know the Jaffe Joe, that's in Coming to America. You throw the roses on the floor for the king and the queen before they start walking in. That's the Jaffe Joe. And I Jaffe Joe all my kings and queens on the panel and on the chat and in the chat. You are all leaders in that chat. You are not a follower of anyone. You are not a follower of anyone. You're a leader, and sometimes leader let leaders lead, and that's how victories are won. Prime, what's up? Give me something. Let me know what you're thinking about black men being more prejudiced to black women than white people. What's going on right now?
I think that you have a certain segment of a population that is downtrodden, taken to the internet and spewing out their toxicity more than anything on both sides when it comes to men and women. And in my normal daily walk in life, you know, there is some issues amongst us. You know, that's just part of the human experience. But I think when you listen to these online commentators who are promoting toxicity, hate, pain, and darkness, and you know, it's like on the woman's side, it's just promotion of, you know, pro-woman. You know, regardless of the family, the man, the children, you know, or even the grandparents. So, you know, that's what I really see more than anything.
I get that. What about you, Trips? What's up, Trips? Trip C is in the building. What's good? Indigenous black man says the title is BS, brother. No, I see a lot of supportive black men. Prime is right here. Okay, that's called a supportive black man. He's right there, and I give him Jaffe Joes all the day. So I get that. You see what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, when you come on this internet, you see a lot of that shit right there. So don't tell me that title's bullshit. I've been on panels, and I'm talking to people that's thinking like this, and I'm talking to black women that's crying out about that shit. So don't tell me that shit is BS. Don't tell me that shit if I call my aunt and my mother right now and get them on the phone right now to come talk to you. It's not BS. We are more racial to our own people. The fuck are we doing? We need to come together and love each other. That's what has to happen. I'm black. I'm a melanated man, and this is what I see. That's what I see. This is my opinion. Nobody's opinion is BS. That's called yo opinion. That's why come you step up here and give me your opinion, because that's what I'm calling out to you. Melanin royalty, please step up, queen. Please step up, queen, if you have a moment. I will be going live on Daughter of the Sea. I will be on her panel at 4 p.m. We will be doing a men's panel, and I will be on there, and we'll be discussing some topics, man. This is what it is, man. We're bringing us together to talk about topics, and that's what it's all about, y'all. Trip C's, what's up, queen? How you feeling?
I'm doing all right. How you doing?
Doing great. You know what I'm saying? Doing great. Not attacking you too, Indigenous. But I mean, it's just not BS because I'm talking to people, and this is what the people talking about, Indig. This is what they talking about.
Somebody knocking at your door.
Yeah, that's clear. All right, look, Claire. Shout out for Claire from the UK. So we got 2 people from the UK. Betty, I call it the true K.
Peace and blessings to everybody.
Peace, Claire. Peace, Trixie. Hi.
Hey, Joe, Claire.
Hey, how you doing?
Hi.
I'm at work.
I can't really stay on for long because I'm in the middle of
something, Claire.
I'll be back.
So look, Claire. All right, you can come back, Trips. Look, so let me ask you something, Claire. So look, so based on that, so since you can't talk too long, because you can talk about whatever you want after whatever you want to say. Yeah. Look, Indigenous black man says the title is BS. Do you feel that that thing is BS? Do you think that black men are prejudiced to black women?
A certain group of them, yeah, most definitely. A certain group of them.
And
yeah.
Group, a lot
it's usually the ones that got either experienced trauma as a child. Mm-hmm. I think as a black populace, a lot of us are dealing with abandonment issues because of parents not being around, and that sets up a whole marriage of other issues. So yeah, I do believe there is a prejudice. I think some black men think they can't get any higher on the ladder without going with a white girl. As you know, I'm mixed race, so my nan's white, so and that happened in the late 50s. So it's love is love at the end of the day. But I think what's the bad bit about it is that making out that white women are better than black women. It's that bit. It's that whole I'd never go with a black woman because she's this, she's that, and the third sort of thing. So yeah, I would agree. There is definitely a prejudice, and there's definitely we're more racial to each other than any other races to us, most definitely.
So that's another person. See, Claire has an opinion on that. You see, Indigenous, you can have your own opinion. I'm not shooting nobody for their own opinions. If you feel that maybe from your own perspective, you haven't seen that. But I don't know if you've seen, like, we are like this towards each other, man. Like, for real, man. Even when I was younger, like, even I still do it now. I help women. I help older people, elderly men, all type of stuff. People don't help nobody. Like, people is different right now, man. We're in a total different world right now, Indig. Like, you know what I'm saying? You probably a certain age, so I can get what you're saying, and I get that. I just don't see people just literally being racist or prejudiced in some ways. But when you look at the way people treat the women and what sometimes is expected of women and just the character of what they keeping themselves in and how they carry themselves, and they expecting so much from a woman, that shit is twisted to me. That's kind of wild logic to me. You know what I'm saying? And I'm from places, I've been many places, lived in many kinds of places, not just the hoods. You see what I'm saying? So I don't live in the hood right now. But at the end of the day, it is something that's real, and nobody's not going to say that it's not something that's real, especially on YouTube. That shit is really, really dominant for men. Look at the man just came yesterday. Yo, she a woman, right? She came as a lawyer, right? On Information Man panel. People talk about, oh, she's a woman. She can't be no lawyer. Well, you like what? She's a black woman. The next woman came on. She talking about the case. She got the subpoena, the same 2020 superseding indictment. She bring it up. She trying to talk about it. Yo, son, you a lawyer? What you mean if she's a lawyer? She's like, no, I'm not a lawyer, but I'm an intelligent black woman, and I studied all of these things. So you don't need to have to went to school to know something. I research things diligently, and I cross-reference things with dictionaries, everything. I've been doing this for mad long. So what takes away from her being any of much as a professional, as somebody that went to school for something? What is the difference? And why does that matter? Because she's a woman. So there are
I
prejudices.
think I think we've as a community we've put so much emphasis on labels and what people have got and how people look on the outside. Everything's very superficial. Do you know what I mean? It's all very superficial. I think it's a setup for both genders, female and male. You know, men are told that they can't be masculine anymore and that they've got to be, you know, politically correct in every way. And a woman's told that she can have it all and then expected to excel at every single moment of what she's having it all. And, you know, there's a trade-off between career and being a mother. You know, there's a trade-off between being a single mother and being in a relationship where there's a joint income to help with ease the bills so that somebody can be at home for the children. We've got a lot of people being paid to watch our children. Well, that's what they're doing, watching them. They're not nurturing them, you know? And then it gives off fake ideals. And then we've got all these programs like Love and Hip Hop and, you know, the Kardashians and all these, you know, programs showing us all the stuff that, you know, they tell you need to have a good life. And that's what everybody's aspiring to. And if you haven't got these things, then people actually generally believe that they have a bad life. But even when you haven't got these things, if you're living in the West, especially, most of us are living so much better than people living over the other side of the world. You know, so I think it's a kind of get back to basics and start learning what's really important. And I think COVID hasn't shaken enough people up because I think the reality of COVID is it really doesn't matter what your master's degree says. If your job's not essential, you're going to be broke. Do you know what I mean? So I think we do need to get back to basics. But I do need to jump off right now because I'm being called. So I will jump back in shortly.
I love you, Queen. I love you, Queen. Salute to you. Joffy on the way out. Joffy on the way out. Joffy on the way out. Love you, Claire.
Peace, Claire. She's so sweet.
Pat, give me something.
Yeah, I agree. And just going off what a couple of people were saying in the chat about even bringing up the conversation, it seems to rub some people up the wrong way. Like nothing's ever going to improve if we just can't have a conversation about it and for people to let them know how they feel. Because I think a lot of men feel like women have been given all the space to kind of, you know, talk down on men or say that they never listen or that we can't be vulnerable around them because then they'll say that we're playing victim or try and, you know, pull at the heartstrings and their emotions and things like this. But I think what's been happening lately is a lot of women are becoming more comfortable talking about like their trauma. And I know for some people they find it uncomfortable because they don't really, I don't know, maybe they just don't like to hear that. It's almost like, you know, get over it, dust yourself on and get on with it. There's other more important things to worry about. But I think if you don't talk about it and people aren't willing to really listen and understand where you're coming from, then this is where you have these issues between men and women that they feel they can't share. You know, even men as well, they feel like sometimes they always have to put on, you know, their strong side and can't talk about even what they might have gone through, you know, growing up. And yeah, it just causes an environment where everyone's very cagey about talking about certain things. And online, I think is a great place to do it because people can have a certain level of anonymity, you know, and they don't have to be completely out there. They get people's opinions and they can hear. And yeah, it's a good place to just chop it up. And I hope people can and will continue to have these conversations because it sounds like there's a lot of things that need to be healed between men and women for sure. So yeah.
I agree. I agree totally. But I think the healing process has to happen. And with that, the shock of things has to happen too. You know what I'm saying? Like we have to get into these conversations if these things are going to change in any in any shape, form, or fashion. You know what I'm saying? Look at Raw B. She just wrote in something. She said, some black men are jealous of the success of the black woman because they are viewed as a threat and they will not be supported that way in America. Black women perpetuate the BS because they don't ego stroke.
Do you know what? It's funny. I've heard a lot of, I don't know if you guys have probably heard it, Black American women and white men, they're like in cahoots together in America working against the black man. Have you guys heard that before? I've heard that in
Yeah, like that
yeah.
and
Yeah, I heard
feminism.
it.
No, that and feminism. Throw feminism in there too. That
Oh
and
yeah, feminism. They love to
three of
throw
them.
that.
Yeah, rocking against the black man. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So I don't know where that idea comes from. I'm kind of going off what Raw B was saying,
Feminism. Come from the
Yeah.
feminism and that and the whole thing with that, and then how they saying like I think this is my opinion. I think from the feminism, and they think like black women shouldn't be feminists because feminist was really like a white people agenda, and the white people was pushing, and it really don't benefit the black people. And when they push it, it really pushed down the black man too. So I think it's like
Right.
come back to a feminist kind of conversation. Shout out to Raw B for pulling up. Shout out to Melanin Royalty. Hold up, y'all. You already know the vibe. King Jaffe. To be loved. To be loved. Oh, what a feeling. Let's get it, Royalty.
Peace.
What's up, Queen? What's up, Raw B? What's up, Melanin? How you feeling? What's up? Tell me something.
Well, hello, family. I just want to be brief. I do got my little activities on Sundays that I do, but I just wanted to tap in with you guys for one moment. So greetings, everyone.
Greetings.
What I have recognized is that we have, um, we must understand that it's not either or, it's both and. Okay. So when we come from the standpoint of both and, then we recognize that there's truth on all sides.
Yeah.
Right. And what we're talking about is a mentality.
Yeah.
We're not talking about a person group. We're talking about a philosophy.
Yes.
So when you're talking about a philosophy of oppression, of course, there's going to be oppression amongst all groups, right? There's going to be degrees of oppression, but nonetheless, there's still going to be oppression.
Yes.
So this thought process that it's not possible within the Black community is a fallacy. Okay, so at some point, we are going to have to acknowledge that our mindset has been co-opted in a sense, where we have in some degrees taken on the mentality of the oppressor. Okay, while you are an oppressor, you can also be oppressed at the same time, right? So with that being said, the question is not an outrageous question. The question is not a fanciful idea or talking point. It's absolutely a reality. Now, we can't say that all Black men operate in that way.
Yeah.
There is a degree for which there are Black men that operate in that way. So, given that that is what we're focused on, we must remember that we have to speak to that group of Black men, right? And I think what happens when we're having these conversations is that we haven't learned how to suspend our emotion. Because a lot of times our emotions is tied to our own personal experience. And the minute that we hear someone say something that triggers us, then emotion arises and we suspend all logic. And I'm hoping that we can have a conversation where we're not emotional about this topic, because that is how we're going to get to a resolution. And I know that resolution is going to look different for each person. But when we come away from these conversations, we must give ourselves a goal. What is our goal in our personal lives? What can I do to minimize the caste system that has been created in this system, right? What can I do to improve myself and my family so that the community also benefits from that improvement? So it's not about bashing black men. It's not about exposing black women. It's about how do we address the realities that function within our community
Mhm.
and find a way to walk from this conversation, giving ourselves the tools and the purpose to at least say, I can change this one thing in my life. That's it,
Mhm. I agree with you
you
totally.
know. So I just wanted to pop on to say that and to encourage us while we're having these very difficult conversations for us to be sensitive to each other's experience, to recognize that we're not going to have all the details of each other's experience to explain the reaction.
Mhm.
But I'm just asking that we set aside our emotions at this point in time to figure out how we can get better and how we can do better individually and collectively.
I agree. I agree totally. Like I said, though, it is a real thing. All right. But me as a black man, as a melanated man, all right. Me personally, I think the men should be dealing with the men. I think the women should be getting the women in order. I mean, that's what I think. I think the women need to take the onus from the women. Let the men deal with the men. Okay. And we do got some men that's not trying to push for no change, not trying to do nothing, not trying to change their own draws right now. We not going fucking we're not gonna cape for that. We're not. There's no cap on that. Come on. And this is the type of shit that's keeping us back. So we need people to step their games up. We need people to step their games up. It comes with that. So when you think of prejudice, because some people don't think that a black man can be racist or prejudiced. I don't use racist because racism is the love of the one thing, right? Because I think even that word is used different, right? Because some people say racism to put ism on the end of the word and again some long dialect with you and shit. See what I'm saying? So the prejudices that you're doing, okay, black men, you know what I'm saying? Why some people don't feel that they can be that they're not prejudiced? That's like a white person, it's a black person thing, and it's a white versus black, and a race versus a different race type thing. People can be guilty of the same thing, just like Melanin was saying, because oppression, it's like narcissism. You get abused by a narcissist, then you was abused, and now you sometimes can become a perpetrator because you're trying to defend yourself from this abuse, or you're trying to never let this happen again, or you're psychologically traumatized by this abuse that you subconsciously start traumatizing other people now. You see what I'm saying? So that's how it goes. So we're traumatized and we get where it comes from. But just because we get where it comes from, that doesn't mean that it has to stay. It could go right back to where it comes from. That's the point of bringing up these kinds of conversations. You know what I'm saying? I do want to hear from Raw B, though. Raw B, give me a little something. Melanin, you about to leave? Hold on. Wait 1 second, Raw B. Are you about to leave, Raw? I mean, Melanin?
Yeah, I'm a drop off, but I'm gonna say I love you all. Continue striving to be the best that you can, and it's one step in front of the other. You
Yeah.
know, we got to make sure that we're not trying to bite off more than we can chew,
Mm-hmm.
because then that's when we become overcome with rage and frustration, and that's not going to help us.
Yes, that's a fact. And I appreciate you every time you come on, you talk. Love you, Queen. Every time you talk, high vibrations. You know what I got to do. Jaffe Joe, I got to get the sample of the song. To be loved. You're going to be hearing Eddie every day. To be loved. You're going to hear the man in the background. Shut up. Oh, what a feeling. It's going to be coming to America over here. You heard, y'all? To be loved. Melanin royalty. Shout out to the Queen. I appreciate you, Queen. Make sure that y'all go and subscribe to that Queen. We got a lot of great things that we are doing, and she's assisting me on a lot, if not every goddamn thing that I'm doing, keeping me in order. Brother, you need to eat. Brother, you need to lay it down and go get some goddamn sleep, brother. You're running like you little Tom, the little engine that could. Sit your ass down, community, Uda, whatever the ass go by. Sit your ass down. And I had to listen. I had to take a seat, y'all.
Peace, family. Have a good
Peace.
day.
Pieces,
Thank you,
pieces.
Queen.
Take
Appreciate
care.
you
Peace.
so much. Jaffe on the way out. Raw B, what's up? What's up? We here live. If you just came in, you're here live with Octavius Prime. We're here with Kat from the UK, aka the True K. And I'm here with Raw B Privilege. Shout out to Raw B. What's up, Raw B? Give me something because I know you're a high vibrational queen and you already know.
Yes, I mean, I agree with your title. I do think a lot of black men are prejudiced against black women in America, but I think it has to do with the economy system. You
Okay.
know, my mother has been telling me since I was young, if a black man is not making more than a black woman, then he's not going to be happy and there's going to be problems because it's a pride thing. They don't really want to feel like they're being taken care of. And as I sit back and I listen to a lot of conversations in these spaces, and as I've gotten older, I found my mother's logic to be absolutely true. A lot of men claim that they want to be pimping and, oh, they're not spending this money for blah, blah, blah. They're crying out because they don't really have the money to do so. This is
Yeah.
why the high value, you know what I'm saying, man conversation is at an all-time high, because that's a rarity in the community. And, I've been talking about this, you know what I'm saying, a few times, and especially the other day I did a video on this. Until you're right, until brothers that are making it start encouraging and start teaching other brothers how to make it, and not say, oh well, I have my own children, I'm not raising them up. Until sisters that are doing better start teaching the ratchet how to calm down, how to, invest that energy into bettering themselves and their children, we're
Yeah.
always going to be at this standstill. And last night was a prime example of it. You have a woman that's going to college that has accomplishment, and she's black. So she's told by a black man that doesn't have a modicum of that accomplishment that her perspective doesn't matter. Oh, well, I would never hire a black female lawyer for anything. Well, a black female lawyer will probably represent you pro bono, where the black man won't, because he'll look at you like you're weak because you're not his contemporary. Black women need to stop nurturing black men that lack ambition and lack drive. We need to be more selective in how we move and how we operate.
That's real. But building off of that, Kat, what you say to that response? I'm piggybacking off of what Ross said.
I agree. It's actually interesting. I was listening to a similar kind of conversation that was happening the other day. It was predominantly African American women who were kind of comparing what Black American men seem to expect from them, and that other groups of men don't seem to have these same wants, with white couples, for example, or Asian couples or Arab couples. They're saying, they don't have a problem supporting their women or financially being the head of the household. But they felt like when it comes to some Black American men, they feel like, I don't know, like sometimes they want more of a partnership, or they want to be taken care of. And that's what they were kind of saying. I don't know if that's true or not, because they were saying, okay, does the Arab woman want their woman to be, their partner in that sense financially, or are they happy being the man of the house and being in charge of the finances and being the head, Whereas I think for some reason, either Black American women are resistant to that because they don't feel like their men are in that position, or they just have an uncomfortable feeling about giving their men free reign over their families. Now, I could be wrong, but it feels like a lot of the women that were talking were kind of coming from that aspect. So I don't know. And I don't know where this idea comes from, because I know it hasn't always been like that. The Black American family was really strong for a long time. So I don't know at what point it started to kind of start to crumble, and there was this mistrust between the both of you. I'm not sure, but I don't know if anyone can elaborate on that. But that was just the perspective that I was getting.
You said
The
the
70s. Yeah, the
go.
black exploitation, the pimping era. You know what I'm saying? Where black men in this country got this mindset and ideology that they could live off of the backs and the vaginas of black women, where they didn't have to go out and actually procure a career and a future and provide for their families. So black women didn't have no choice but to say, oh no, you're messing up. When black men started having multiple children outside of the family, child, black women can't. I don't agree with the philosophy, but I understand why.
Yeah, and it seems like that lifestyle seems to be promoted maybe more. Was it intentional? Like, was it an intentional I don't know, like a project to like try and break the Black family down, because I've heard people like, you know, the idea that people try to work to get the Black man out of the home and tell Black women that they didn't need the man around, they could do it for themselves, they were going to be supported financially, they were going to be given opportunities so they didn't have to deal with Black men. Do you know, was it like a concerted effort, do you feel, to kind of break down the structure
Yes.
of like the Black family?
Yeah, because it was after 1968, after, you know what I'm saying, Martin and Malcolm were sent back to glory, and they saw that it was the Black family unit that actually funded the movements of the Panthers and Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, that they said, oh no, that's a problem. When J. Edgar Hoover located and labeled the Black Panthers as one of the biggest threats to the American economy, they also labeled the Black family as that too. When you look into early 1970s, the housing movement, the movement of all of these social programs, it was set to separate us apart. And then you throw into the mix the whole Black exploitation era of film. It was meant to devalue, minimize, and separate us. And it worked swimmingly well. And we still repeat and perpetuate in those ideals. And we have all of these learned people that don't even look at the whole picture and say, okay, it's time to refocus that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Based on
sorry,
that,
go on.
give me something, no Prime. You said you back. Give me something, Prime. Did you hear the last part of that bill where Roe was going into? You heard Prime? Prime, you got. You know, Prime be having.
I don't think he's back yet.
He ain't back yet, probably.
Yeah, it's just like oh, I can't remember the other sister's name that was saying like,
Melanin.
what do we do about it? Because it seems like people seem to identify where these problems come from and the kind of the issues that need to be, or the kind of lifestyles as well that need to be put aside and more focus be put on, you know, building each other up, supporting each other emotionally, financially, like, you know, like we were saying, like healing one another so we can get back to that era when the Black family was so solid. So just trying to see how can we do that. You know, it seems like we go around in circles sometimes, kind of talking bad about each other or saying how maybe each of us have failed in the process, but it's like, what do we do, you know, from here? I don't know. I wish I had the solution, but
I don't know. I think it comes with this. I think this is part of the solution. I think Black men and Black women coming together when this is an open panel, and anybody that's in that chat that's listening can join this panel and lift their voice towards this. I don't want panels that they watch. I could go to the studio, go record music. I have shit that I do. I do acting. I'm filming scripts. I'm doing all types of shit right now in my life. So I don't sleep at all. So it's many things that we can do. But I know one thing that makes me not sleep a lot is the condition that my people are in. Okay, my mother's a Black woman. My children are Black. So you obviously know that my family's the same thing then. So that means that affects all of my family. Okay, so that's period. It's not no, oh, that's my name is Bennett and my name ain't, I ain't in it. No. We are in this shit. Okay, all of us are in this. We need to start lifting our voices because none of us have the right answer. Maybe one of us do. Who knows? But we won't know until we start lifting our voices, bringing them together, especially as melanated kings and queens, Black people, whatever so-called things you want to, you know what I mean, identify with yourself as. But we need to come together and talk now. You know what I'm saying? And really just have discussions and not let it be, you know what I'm saying, some other thing when the women talking is arguing, is men beefing, and it's a bunch of beef because people are personalizing something from trauma. And I get it. I get it. But that doesn't help.
I don't know. I was just thinking, like, when I used to, you know, listen to some of the discussions that was happening over, like, in kind of the manosphere arenas, where they would talk about, you know, the breakdown of communication between Black men and women, and how, you know, like marriage rates going down, you know, maybe the absence of certain parents in the home, you know, that whole structure has fallen apart. And it seems like, from what I was hearing from a lot of the men especially, like they're so adverse to even getting married these days, or having you know, that nuclear family. They've kind of lost all hope in it. And Yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like they've just lost faith in Black women altogether. And they talk about, you know, all these abbreviations that they come up with, like finding women from here and there and all over the world, or, you know, abandoning America altogether. And I've heard these different things come out of Black American men's mouth. Yeah, I didn't realize it was that bad, that they have such a, I don't know, like a disdain. So maybe that's why they don't even want to be involved in the conversation anymore.
Yes.
I don't know.
Let me say this real quick, and then I'm gonna go because I have family.
Roy, you're out too. Don't let me have to play the Jaffe again for you. Don't do this, Jaffe. Dara.
I have family from out of town, but I'm still trying to keep it tapped in with you.
You were saying it yesterday. I know.
Yes. The reality is there's a lack of accountability, and Black women don't want to be accountable to themselves. They don't want to be accountable for the bad choices that they made. So then they feel like, oh, all Black men are the same. All Black men are not the same. You gotta up your standards, change your game. Black men feel the same way. They don't want to have accountability in America. It's easy to say that Black women are this, that, and the third, and they can get X, Y, and Z from other women because it's about the sexuality. They can hypnotize other races with the sex. Like, oh, I'm gonna put it on you. And these women be like, oh, I'm gonna throw money at you. Or so they think. Or so they think because they don't really engage with other races to know that Karen ain't putting up with the nonsense either. Okay. Lydia is not putting up with the nonsense either. Okay. Jasmine said no, thank you. Like, you know what I'm saying?
That's true.
Yeah, like people don't have enough exposure in America, the Black community. They're usually stuck in the same neighborhoods they grew up in their whole life. They don't interact with other races. They don't know about community. And we got to start really, instead of coddling people and trying to be nice, like it's always good to be nice. I'm a rip the band-aid off type of person. We got to start telling people the truth. No, your shit is raggedy. You don't have your life together. Do better. And with that being said, I love y'all, and I'm gonna catch the replay and talk to y'all later.
Appreciate you,
Love
Queen.
you, darling.
Always dropping jewels, always dropping bombs. Yeah, man, I'm looking to see some fresh thoughts. I'm about to go into Prom's mind a little bit. I do want Conscious TV. Conscious TV. I met on Information Man's channel yesterday. Was very, very pleased by the knowledge, the information, the passion about certain information. I would love for Conscious TV to make the introduction to this channel because I'm gonna go about having them on this channel. We're going to be going into some discussions on a lot of different things, but you know, I need us all to vibrate on a high conscious. And I mean, I want us to understand what is it, and we're going to go into some solution, maybe a couple of things that we feel that we can do. So at the end of these build constantly, it's not going to be random no more. I do want to come into some solution-based building. I am going to be trying to take away something from every conversation, and I am going to be jotting down what we think are some solutions to this issue, so that every time we come up, we always come with like a final thought, and we can get some kind of, you know what I mean, some kind of solution to the situation, not just everybody talking all day, all night, like we in the living room. You know what I'm saying? Like we could really get to something real. So,
and just going off what the sister was saying, because I think a lot of Black men do feel like Black women are really hard on them, or they're very critical of them. But I don't think it comes from a place of hate. If anything, I feel like it comes from a place of love, because they want the men to do better. Yeah. So I think some men get very defensive when they get criticized by Black women, but it's because they care, you know, and maybe other races of women don't give them as much of a hard time because maybe they're not so invested or care about specific about the growth of their specific communities, you know what I mean? So maybe that's why they might let them
a lot of reasons, and sometimes
easy off certain things. Yeah,
races haven't been through the same traumas that Black people have been through too as well. So when you're dealing with people, so you might deal with a woman and y'all both ain't have a father in y'all home, so that's already a problem. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that that's the reason of why y'all shouldn't be, because some people don't have parents at all, and they make it to be great things and have great relationships as well. So, but you know, statistically, you know what I'm saying, when you're missing elements or when it's different things, you can experience like adverse childhood experiences. There's many different things that go up shaping us later in our life that happens. You know what I mean? Prepubescent times, even your childhood years. You know what I mean? It happens to you. It happens to you. But most definitely want to get some thoughts from Prime. Prime, what's your feeling on something? Conscious TV, if you're listening, go up because your thoughts are dope. Anybody here that want to join us, I want you to join us and tell us what you think about the topic. Indigenous Black Man, he's in the chat. He says, I think the title's BS. That's Indigenous view. I feel you because I see a lot of supportive Black men. Look at Prime here. He's here. You're there. You don't feel that way, right? So I get that. But a lot of our people, especially a lot of younger people, they're not respecting. All right. You might not see the old people. Now, what about the young people? Are all the young people respecting the Black women? Think about this now. Maybe it's not a lot of respect in the young people as well. So it's a whole thing. When we look at the whole scale of it, this is a true thing that, you know what I mean? Black men could be more prejudiced to Black women than even white men and women. Because it's traumas and everybody's pushing their traumas on people. It's a bunch of drama. But Prime, what you got to say, Prime? If you're new, welcome. Hold on, let me King Jaffe for the people that's new. King Jaffe, if you're new, those applauses for you. You are a leader that's in the chat. You're not a follower, but I do want you to subscribe because when you subscribe, you are family here. That is the type of vibe. We are changing the narrative. We're changing the language. It's our language is some of the things that is biting us and is getting us caught up in situations like you're a follower. That's the shit that's separating us, like classism. It's another form of classism, okay? So I'm waiting for Conscious TV to hit that link because you just came back. Appreciate that. Prime, going to your bill, Prime, while we wait for Conscious. Remember, we got Cat, Prime, a real official Black man right here. Salute to this Black man. Very confident, very positive. Support women, support men, support people. You're not disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? This is the criteria, not some celebrity that you're looking for. It's people like Octavius Prime. Go ahead, Prime.
Yeah, I just want to say, I know the sister was talking about education and you know, black women having better education and things of that nature. Like when I had my job sent me years ago to Atlanta to help out. They was having some shortages and some management problems at the plant, and each one of the workers, the guys working on forklifts and working at a particular warehouse, they were making around $70,000-$80,000 a year. They were straight Black men who loved Black women, but they worked jobs that was overnight. You know what I mean? So there are large groups of Black men in America that are making decent money, making a living, but for certain women and certain groups who have been to college, that's still looked down upon. That type of works, that type of lifestyle, that type of job trade, although these men are making good money. You know what I mean? They're making good money and they're often overlooked, and I just want to say that because I just don't want to be hypocritical and say that that's not an element of Black women overlooking good Black men who are quality. And most likely when they come home from work, they're tired and they want to sleep, eat, and go. I mean, they want to eat, sleep, watch a little TV, and go back to work. You know, I mean, it's hard for them to cheat, working those kind of jobs. So we have to look at those elements too and just keep a fair and balanced assessment. And even when I was up there, these guys asked about the so-called LGBT element of Atlanta. And like the guy said, Atlanta, if you think about it, is one of the biggest warehouse hubs in America. Like, it's a lot of warehouses in that area, and there's a lot of Black men working these third shift jobs, trucking and things like that. They're coming and going, and these guys don't have a lot of time to be on the phone. You know what I mean? They don't have a lot of time to, coddle and things of that nature. So, a lot of these men are able to be faithful. For one, it's hard for them to cheat. You got one girlfriend, it's hard for you to cheat working those kind of jobs. So there are elements of Black men who are doing right. They're out of the streets. They're doing the right thing that are being overlooked. We got to put that out there. I don't want these guys to be forgotten.
Yeah.
And there are large groups of Black men in Atlanta that are straight. I mean, you just can't say everybody's. But like they told me, you go to the mall, you may see that's where they work. They work a lot of the alternative guys. They work in the mall. That's just what it is. But I just want to let me go into something else. But
Yeah.
we just so there are men who can support. You know what I mean. But the main thing is what get more to a solution factor. We have to go into a place where we can look at how we can go beyond our own inferiority complex. Because where there's prejudice, there's also inferiority complexes as well.
Yes.
Um, I was telling a friend the other day about one of my past girlfriends I was with for 6 years, dark skinned sister, and there was never an element that came up with colorism. You know, where she felt like but she told me one time, she told me how she grew up. She was called Whoopi Goldberg. Her family compared her to a lighter skinned sister, things of that nature. And when she first came out, even with her natural hair, she felt a sense of inferiority with that. I was able to help her with that, you know. But the dark skin issue, or like if I'm dark skinned, black men gonna overlook me. I had to get into confrontations with my barber because dudes was trying to holler at her all the time. You know what I mean? Because the thing is, when you get over your own inferiority complexes, or what what you feel like the world may perceive you to be because you look a certain way, you have a certain skin tone, and then when you can go into elements of I'm gonna enhance my femininity, I'm gonna enhance who I am as a woman, and same thing as men. You know, when we get over our inferiority complexes about being too short or being, um, you know, overweight or being too skinny, you know what I mean? The thing, once we get over that, we open a door for better people to come into our life. So, you know, and that's why I like this conversation. You know, I tapped in to pretty much make that statement to everyone that's listening is that we all have to get over our own shortcomings and inferiority complexes and what we think other people are thinking, because we can at the end of the day, we are really looking for one good person in our life, right?
Yeah.
So that's all that matters. Out of 7 billion people on the planet, I think the odds are in your favor.
I really
You know what I mean?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
When you look at it that way, sound good.
Yeah. Yeah. The odds are in your favor. And then, you know, and then, you know, especially if you are vibrating on a higher frequency, you have gotten over a lot of inferiority, complexes, a lot of the you know, the slights within your own soul. Once you have done those things, you know, I mean, you open the door for abundance. You know, we have to think abundance. And another thing, I want to say this for the women that are listening, you have to find, if you're going to get role models in your life and listen to older women, see, have these older women lived long enough and had, you know, successful marriages for decades? Get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Are they successful? And just like I have a friend I met when I was selling insurance. He's a retired doctor. He inspired me to go back to school, you know, just talking and, you know, saying, and, you know, me and him wrapping it up, talking and everything like somebody successful. He has, you know, got worth a couple of $1 million. So yeah, it's easier for me to look up to a person that's lived a long life, know what it takes to get to a certain place in life. And, you know, that's a model for me to say, okay, yeah, you know what, I can do it. You know what I mean? So the main thing is when you want success in your life, because if you just want somebody to bicker and you just want to just wallow in your self-pity, you know what I mean? What is the point? You have given up. We also live in a world where there is it's a survival of the fittest type world. We're in a capitalist society. The Western world is capitalist, which means the strong survive. So what that means is you have to, like what Usain Bolt told what's the girl name that with the Olympics that she Shakira
Shakira Richardson.
Like I said, you have to practice. You have to, you know, you got to get stronger if you're gonna be talking shit. You know what I mean? You got to get stronger if you're gonna be talking shit. So we all have to get in that mental gym, the physical gym, that's a spiritual gym, to get ourselves stronger. You know what I mean?
I agree,
So
man.
I'm gonna just leave it with that.
That's great. I appreciate that. I think that was really, really deep. We got Conscious TV and we got Big Dog Philly OG. So I just want to go into Conscious TV real quick, go into your build, and we'll get right into BDP. You already know the vibe. Go ahead, Conscious. Let's make sure we can hear you. I've been waiting for you to come up here and talk, man. I think that you vibrate on a real, real high level. I can see you do your knowledge. I can see you do your research. Take your time and do the due diligence. So I appreciate that. I really, really do appreciate that. So King Jaffe Joe, y'all, you already know Lady Roses on the floor. Conscious TV. What do you think about any part of our problem? You got to unmute, right? Kings and queens, make sure y'all all are unmuted. I want to make sure that we can hear him. But until you say something, there you go. Say something.
Peace. Mic
Okay.
check.
Okay, that's a mic check. Okay, who that?
Big Dog for OG.
All right, so tell me something until we get Conscious TV comes back and unmutes his mic or whatever that Conscious TV needs to do. What you think about whatever's going on? Let me know something. Tell me something, DP.
First of all, much love and much respect to the family. Much love and much respect to everybody. You know what I mean? My thing is we need to start loving each other. We need to start loving ourselves first. It starts with self. And then once you start loving yourself, you can extend that love to someone else. But we need to start loving each other, respecting each other, and supporting each other. You know what I mean? And keep the negative bullshit away.
Yes, I agree. I agree totally. You're OG, man. He's right to the point with his shit. Listen, you go get your ass in the house, and that's it. Nah, I do appreciate that. I think it's true. I think it's very, very true. Conscious is having a little I think a technical difficulty, but I'm just gonna I'll make that channel just come inside real quick for a couple times, and let's just see if it fixes the mic. Because sometimes when you leave and then join the panel again, sometimes it just fixes the mic. So I just do want to see if we can get that going on. Conscious, say something. Let me see. He said
Can
something.
you hear me?
Oh, what? Yes, I can hear you. Say something again.
Hi. Yeah, I'm here.
What are you doing now? QB, Jaffe Joe, y'all. Jaffe Joe.
I had to go into my settings and everything. So
Thank you for the settings. Set these people up in the right settings, please. Thank you. Let's go.
It is too early for this. My brain is cranking on right now.
I know, right? Shit, I'm trying to get the little bit of the little oil that was running off from last night. Little trickle.
I ain't even mad. I appreciate you for having me, and hello to the rest of the panelists in the chat. I'm kind of just diving in, so I'm gonna piggyback off of what the last bro just said. Like there is something to be said about personal liberation. Like I've used the law of attraction. I'm a metaphysician. I study spiritual laws. I utilize my own consciousness in a way it interacts with laws of attraction, the law of reciprocity, to shape and change my life. Like 90% of the prosperity and success in my life has come through working with the energy and working with those laws. So I can completely co-sign that despite your individual circumstances, that there still is power for you to change your life, despite how many people speak against you, despite how many personal obstacles can exist around you, that there are still pockets of transcendence and liberation that can occur and manifest. But what I've also been able to notice is that despite the law of attraction, despite the personal power we all have to do something about our circumstances, is that personal liberation does not change systemic issues. So we still have to piggyback around and deal with the actual issue of a colorism, even if we liberate ourselves from the colorism individually, or even if you liberate yourself from the secular, superficial beauty standards that you're plagued by, whether that's the standards around weight, the standards around hair texture, the standards around facial features, whether that's the standards around classism and poverty, that we can individually do something about that. But it doesn't change the fact that you still live in a system that makes your reality personally harder for you than any other community, or rather than the dominant society, which we know in America would be white society. So we can have both. Like, I've been able to see spaces for myself to evolve and to bring my kind of pull myself up by my bootstraps, but also realize that the only reason why I really have to do that is because there is an overarching system that is keeping its foot on my neck. And there are people in this community and in this culture that have a head start, whether that be white America, whether that be those who have assimilated to Eurocentric standards, Eurocentric business practices, Eurocentric ideologies, etc. And I shouldn't have to bend and pussy pop and do every type of cartwheel just to get my basic fundamental needs met as a human being. Matter of fact, I would actually prefer not to have to alter myself at fucking all. Like, I would prefer that rather than we have to beautify ourselves, or whether we have to change our reality, that we actually make more effort to disintegrate these institutions and these systems and these belief systems that aren't real to begin with. Like, beauty standards are not real. A lot of the standards and expectations that a lot of men and women look for in romantic relationships are superficial as hell. Today, if you talk to most heterosexual Black men and women, and this is why Kevin Samuels is getting such a big, why he's having a big moment, is because his rhetoric is so deeply carnal. Like, you don't hear anything about the sentimental, spiritual, and sacred aspect of what it means to have a life partner. All you hear is that you need to be this size, and you need to look this way, and you need to accumulate this amount of money. And if you were to have value man as a woman, you need to expect him to cheat because he's entitled to all. And if you are a high valued man, you are entitled to all because you are provided. It's just like, and nowhere in that space is no type of substance and reality and intimacy and vulnerability and sacredness, and nothing that actually glues people together when you get fat as hell. Nothing that glues people together when the job inevitably goes out of business and the money gets stuck. There's no room in that. And so I think living in an era where we catch flights and not feelings, and living in an era where we put the bag before we put our friends, before we put our family, before we put our community, this type of secularism is something that is going to really destroy the minds of the younger people, because we have generations manifesting that are becoming more narcissistic collectively than ever. This is why these kids are out of control, because the images and the rhetoric that is being plummeted and injected into them is practically soulless. It's soulless. It's all material based. And when you get a very secular material based society, what you do is you dehumanize those people. And when people become dehumanized, it's not a problem for me to walk up to you and put a bullet in your head for no reason. It's no problem for me to dispose of your body. It's no problem for me to exploit you, or to objectify you, or to only look at you as an opportunity to get to another point. I'm going to reduce your humanity. I'm going to reduce your divinity. And so we're moving into a deeply, deeply secularized, almost like anti-God, anti-humanity type of, it's an anti-God, anti-human type of era. And this is why we're going to see a rise in violence. We're going to see a rise in criminality. We're going to see a rise in suicidal ideation, because what suicidal ideation, what depression, and what the rise of crime in our country is indicating to us is that the current version of reality, the current matrix in this country, is unsustainable for most human beings, particularly marginalized communities who are already impacted by 50,011,000 intricacies of trauma and complexities, coupled with the fact that we're becoming more non-human like. And so if we don't curb this rhetoric, and if we don't get in control, and we don't challenge media, and we don't challenge this country to produce better institutions, and we don't produce a focus on those who are the most impacted by these changes, which are not the majority, because the elite are going to be okay. Any law, any legislation passed is going to impact the least. And I know, as a Black people, some of us are moving out of Christianity, but these same issues were combated by Yahshua 2,500 years ago, where he literally prophesied that if you do not take care of the least of your world, that your world is going to collapse. Like, the people at the bottom are your focus point, because we legislate everyone from the bottom up in this country. And in the Black community, we definitely do that. This is why the Arabs know to move into our community. This is why the Asians know to move their beauty supply stores, their Chinese restaurants, their gas stations. Every community fucks with the Black community, because we are a community who liberates everybody from the bottom up. Nothing is ever legislated from the top down. Everything is always legislated from the bottom up. And so we have a lot of issues going on in this world. And I think that obviously conversations more centered around community and love, again, will be very significant. I think talking to our children about love and compassion and empathy, and getting them to divorce these ideas that are being plastered and projected onto them through music, through movies, through sitcoms, through the internet, through all of these things that this generation is coupled with, is a step in the right direction. And I appreciate conversations like this that really focus on community efforts and the substance and what's really real. And so finding a way for us to get innovative as adults and make love really cool again, and make community really necessary again to young people who are going to have to carry the torch way beyond us, is definitely something that we're going to have to do, or else these people are doomed. Our children are doomed, and their children are doomed.
I agree, man.
Amen to that.
You went Super
That
Saiyan
deserves a
5,
round
brother.
of applause. Yeah,
You always
You
get
went Super Saiyan.
you conscious, yo. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, man.
It's
Yeah.
true. It's kind of like what we were saying before. It's getting back to basics. You know what I mean? Like, morality, family values. I know it sounds cheesy and it sounds like, oh, we're past
all
that.
of this morning. That's real though. True, man. It's so true, man.
And
But
I think one of the things that like the last what's his name?
Conscious TV?
Yeah, Conscious TV. I really like what you were saying. And when we talk about prejudice, are Black men more prejudiced against Black women and things of that nature? You also got to look at the aspect of fetish sex when it comes to different races.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because not like we start looking at each other as materialist, like, oh, I want to be with a South American girl or something like that. I want to be with a Puerto Rican girl or something, and I'm Black or whatever. And they are the same thing with them. They're looking at us as walking dildos. Some women are looking at men as walking dildos nowadays too. Especially Black men. We're just good for sex. It's because what we're seeing an element of, materialism, where people are now material, and even the current situation that we experience in around the world, they're looking at us as a gear in a machine. And if you don't want to capitulate to certain things that the government and the corporations want you to do, are no longer part of that machine. You know what I mean? Because we're no longer looked at as humans. We're looked at as part of a machine. And the same thing when you look at how we look at sex nowadays and how we look at relationships. We're looking at it from a point of view of, necessity, materialist, and even something like when I remember being younger, or like, Like some women, they would actually get with certain kind of men and just to walk through the mall with them. You know what I mean? It's vice versa. You just want to be seen with a certain kind of person. And you might not like that person at all. You may not have nothing in common with that person. It's just the fact that it looks good to be look like you got all the women. Or like even in Hollywood, I've known women who've dated Hollywood stars and rappers, and just to find out these guys live a certain kind of lifestyle that's contrary to women, but they want the public to see them as this strong, straight alpha male, which they're not. But it's the perception in a capitalistic society where, you know, we are just, I'm this strong guy and I got all the women that love me and like me, and you might not even like women. You know what I mean? And that's what happens in a godless, atheistic, Darwinist society that, you know, that's coming in together right now. Like we're seeing where even religious rights are just being thrown out the window totally. The First Amendment is being totally destroyed. Why? Because it guards freedom of speech and freedom of religion. You know, and it's the same thing in the other countries. You know, like I was talking to Claire on one of the previous shows where she was saying, we mentioned the Magna Carta is in the UK is being thrown out, and now they're starting to call those people extremists just for mentioning those type of documents.
Yeah.
So because the lack of, because what we see is it's not beneficial to the powers that be to have a populace that are human. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's where this fetish sex come in. You know, because sometimes we don't even like, you know, you'll see you might see a porno. You know what I mean? Let's keep it real. Guys and girls see pornos and they say, you know what, I want a white girl that's gonna get off like that, or I want to, you know, vice, whatever it is. You know what I mean? And you'll see those things, and then, you know, now it's imprinted in your brain. That's what you want. But when you get around them, you realize like we don't have nothing in common. They don't relate to my experience. You know what I'm saying? So, or even age gaps. You know, some guys want to at 40 want to get with girls that's 20 years old. Now, what is that? You know, when you start to talk to them, they don't know nothing about the Transformers and Optimus Prime and Starstream, and, you know, they don't know nothing about He-Man. You know, they don't know nothing about the 80s with Michael Jackson. You know, nothing like that, because it's outside of their paradigm. You know, all that's what's happening is there's just lust for, you know, this woman looks good, I want her, and that's it. But where is the commonality with that woman? Now, how can y'all actually become soulmates or share a spiritual connection, you know, when y'all don't have any similar experiences? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree, brother. I agree. I think that, you know, you know what I think? You know, I'm a person that, as a young kid and a young guy, I tell you a lot that I was studying multiple different ways of life. And I think it helped me. It made me this person. It helped make me, I guess, this person that I am right now when it comes to how I feel about the oneness of everything. And it's many things that we can adopt from many ways of life, even if you don't want to adopt the ways of life. You know what I'm saying? And when you're dealing with things like Ma'at, you know what I'm saying? When you talk about this balance, whether you want to believe in Kemeticism or not, you know what I mean? Whether you know where Kemet is or not, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter. I'm just mean the concepts of certain things, you know, just the balance between the male and the female, the balance between the feminine energy and the masculine energy, the perfect harmonious balance between male and female. I think that is a powerful, powerful thing. It's a powerful dichotomy. You know what I'm saying? And this is the whole thing. You know what I mean? I think, you know, I met a woman that was online, and she said, I was on her panel. And when I was on her panel, she's just like, yo, you know, you the king. It was her panel, it was her show. I'm like, what do you mean? It's your show. You know what I'm saying? She's like, no, you know, I think men are men and da-da-da. You know what I'm saying? I was like, okay, I get it. But you know what I mean? I get that. But some men run with that and take that as an ego trip and run with that thing. You hear? And say, oh, I'm the man and you got to listen. You listen and then I'm the man. It comes that thing, right? But a real man when he has a woman like that woman right there that says, you know what, I just want the man to be the man and put him up there. He's also not letting that get to his mind and his ego, right? And he can't even get a chance to do that because he's there busy exalting her up so much while she's trying to exalt him to the high thing. She keeps trying to put him there, and he keeps saying, listen, queen, now we here. He keeps pulling her right there. Look what you're talking about, because we right here. So he's going to be selfless. She's going to be selfless. She's going to be saying that he's the man and he's the lead and he's everything. But then he's going to be saying you're my queen and everything and trying to raise up and say, nah, stop saying this like that because you right here with me. So it doesn't matter. Even if she say you're the man, he still understands the balance of that thing and praises her and pushes her and salutes her and lifts her the same way. That's what we have to do. We have to find that perfect harmony. We have to find that balance. A lot of time people are dealing with sex. People are dealing with all types of other situations. Nobody want to be friends first. Nobody want to be friends anymore, whether it sounds corny or cliche, but that's why you got the people like certain things that's doing things, maybe like my son's mom that's doing the things to me. Yeah, sometimes you really got to make sure you got a real friend with you too. Okay, so it gets deep. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to us as a people, I think that we have to have these discussions. We have to talk about how we feel. What is our interactions with prejudices within our own culture? You know what I'm saying? Have I received some prejudices? Have you received some prejudices? You know what I'm saying? So we are prejudiced towards each other. Nobody's going to say that's not a true thing. We are prejudiced towards each other. We are. You know what I'm saying? Why? That's a whole nother thing. That's why I feel that everybody needs to keep their doctrines, but we need to come up with a universal law, a code, an ethic, and a way that melanated people should carry themselves all around the world, be it America, Africa, and the diaspora. So that's just my thought. Conscious TV, Kat, from?
Yeah, I had wanted to kind of piggyback a little bit off of what you were saying about the masculine and feminine. Like the West is it's such a strange land because we are a deeply religious nation, which makes us really spiritually stupid because a lot of the way we interpret spirituality isn't even really spiritual. It's just dogmatic and doctrinal and ends up being more detrimental to the well-being of humans than anything else. When you were talking about balance between masculinity and femininity, like one of the things that happens in the Western world is that we assign two universal polarities to a sex or a gender, which is not the way that our ancestors understood the way that masculine and feminine forces to be and to function as. If you look at indigenous or ancient cosmology, most communities understand that masculine and feminine forces make up the entirety of a soul despite sex or gender, meaning that men have access to the divine feminine and women have access to the divine masculine. When we see women as vice presidents and CEOs and business women, or as single mothers and ruling and dominating and controlling and maintaining their households, we're seeing women operate in their masculinity. When we see men being empathetic and compassionate and yielding that compassion, we see men operating in their divine feminine. But because we live in the West and we have these two polarities and we assign them to sex, we think that it's inappropriate for a man to display or personify the divine femininity within himself, and we think that it's inappropriate for women to display and personify the divine masculine within themselves. And so I think that in the West, like, we have to all divorce our ideas around femininity and masculinity and really get to a place where we understand that the totality of God or the creator or whatever people want to call it is manifested fully in each soul, and that masculinity and femininity are also aspects of the creator. It's the essence of the creator. Even going back to old texts, like, I made both male and female in my own image, that we are already balanced. We are already balanced. That you as a man, her as a woman, we already have the opportunity to be whole within, but we have a prejudice based upon a polarity system assigned to sex that makes us all confused about what proximity we should have to femininity and masculinity, depending on what sex you are. So a lot of men more so struggle with this because of homophobia. So you have a lot of cis heterosexual men who have feminine features emotionally, have feminine features mentally, have feminine features in their mannerisms, who will hate themselves or take up issue with themselves or have a society take up issue with them because it's perceived that they are doing something unnatural, when the furthest thing couldn't be the truth, that all people, once again, have these masculinities and have these femininities, and everybody has them in various degrees. And so I would love for, especially as a Black community, we are so written with toxic masculinity and hyper masculinity and all of these things that have kind of mutated our perception of femininity, hyper femininity, toxic femininity. Like we once again, our community is in a sunken place because of pale supremacy. So we're off track with most of the things that we operate in and perpetuate. So we have to clear up this masculine feminine thing. And I think when men are able to do that, men will be able to better treat Black women because they're able to value the femininity within themselves. I feel like one of the reasons that leads to a lot of domestic violence is the fact that, first of all, Black men are living within a racist system that they know they're being emasculated in, but they don't have the power to take out that rage and frustration out on white supremacy. Therefore, they take it out upon a Black woman's body. And there's also the issue of, you can't really appreciate something that you feel is unfamiliar to you, which is why it's going to be important for Black men to get in touch with their femininity, because they would better be able to hear women and listen to women and vibe with women when woman is doing their woman thing, if they're able to stimulate and activate their own divine feminine within themselves and listen from their heart, not from their ego, not from their head, and vice versa. Black women would better learn to get along and to hear Black men if they tap into that masculinity and hear from their intellect and from their reason and not from their emotions all the time. Like, once again, these polarities, they exist in all of us. And when we're all in touch individually with both polarities within us, I think that makes for a better working system, whether that comes to platonic relationships, romantic relationships, family structures, etc. I forgot what I was going to say else, because I was going to say something about the Black woman and Black men's relationship, but I was going to say this. I feel like Black women are haven't given up on Black men, but I feel like Black women are living in a time where they're taking up the opportunity to hold Black men accountable. Something that maybe a lot of the respectability politics did not afford Black women to do. Maybe having a lot to do with the way that the previous era suppressed the voice and plight and pain of Black women, kept them silent. But Black women are living in the Me Too era. They're living in the age of Aquarius, where women's rights and the Me Too now is putting the battery in Black women's backs, and it's giving them the fortitude and the bandwidth to confront and to speak to the divine masculine that's represented as biological men in this country. And so I feel like all Black women really want is that empathy. This battle of the sexes has gone on for centuries. Men are from Mars and women are from Venus. This seemingly sexist difference, but there really isn't no difference. There's only a difference in the sexes because we socialize men and women so far apart from each other. If you really put men and the women in the same environment, you give them the same basic fundamental things, you would see that there's actually very little difference between the way that the consciousness in men manifests and the way that the consciousness in women manifests. But we don't know that because we live in a system where we train girls to be proper and conservative and poised and virgins, and to be self-preserving until they're vindicated and validated and chosen by a man. And then we teach men to be the warrior class class, and we train men to be emotionally stoic, and we detach them from that emotionality while we encourage women to totally participate in their heart, participate in their sentiments. And this is all the socialization. None of this is natural. Like, this is all the way that we're intentionally grooming male and female in the West. And so a lot of what we think is us genuinely and organically is not us. It's social programming. We've been socially engineered to be the way we are as men. We've been socially engineered to be the way that we are as women. And so starting to fuck back over is just really what it's going to take. Like, divorce your ideas about Christianity, divorce your ideas about blackness. Like, honestly, everything that most of us inherited as black people is fucked. And it's impartial. And taking the time to re-educate ourselves despite what our families believe, re-educate ourselves despite what our society has given to us, re-educate ourselves despite what most of the country believes, etc. Like, we have to take, in order for us to get full again and for us to really have a context and a concept for who we are as black people, who we are as black men and black women, like, we're going to have to really let go of this current system, and we're going to have to be willing to stand alone and to be unique in that way. And I feel like a lot of people don't want to do that because a lot of people are so used and programmed to being approved of socially, which I do understand, because from the time that you, I, and everybody in the stream came into the world, we've been trained to give a fuck about what the majority thinks. We've been trained to straighten up for school, straighten up for church, straighten up for any public space, straighten up for the rest of the family. We've been taught to be everything but our actual selves. And so most of us don't know anything about being ourselves. Most of us don't know anything about our authentic selves, because once again, from the time we came into this world, we've been socially engineered to be one thing or another for somebody or some other group. And so getting people to take a lot of a personal interest in their mind and in their intellect and in their education is something that is very hard, because people want to fit in, and people don't want to divorce ideas that, if they know they divorce, it will disappoint their community. It would disappoint, just like you have a lot of brothers right now who are being like pro LGBT. That sounds like hogwash to a lot of the black community, who's like, that ain't African, that shit ain't da 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 da. You have a lot of black men who are caping for black women. That sounds crazy to a lot of black men. So it's just like, you inherit a cross when you change for the better, and it could be hard. Changing for the better, and changing for the better is not as rosy as people would have you think. Like, you take a lot of bullets and you take a lot of L's, and you enter into a lot of confrontation when you begin to challenge the current social paradigm, and you start challenging the beliefs and the ideas and the rhetoric that's produced by the dominant class. But love and empathy, as the woman on here spoke, and just getting back to self and getting your head back in the books, and kind of restarting your brain all over, because that's kind of what I had to do to get out of everything I was in and to get to this place that I'm in now. Is I had to let it all go, and it was heartbreaking and it was sad, but I did it, and I haven't looked back. Just like a lot didn't look back on Sodom and Gomorrah, I have not looked back. Once you free your mind, you kind of can never really go back. So you have to free your mind and then be prepared to die on that hill, because you will die on that hill.
You say reprogram my mind and re-educate, and when you say where, how, or where, or when, we are to go back to this reprogramming and re-education, give us a starting point.
So the starting point really is being able to first acknowledge that everything you've been given is literally man-made. So once you can actually acknowledge that these are just ideals, that these are just like, our religions are authored by men. Our social norms are authored by human being. Our customs are authored by people, not gods, but people, but egos, but human minds. And so starting there and being able to, I had to start there and tell myself that it's okay to let go of what somebody else think the world should be like, because what what I'm thinking is the product of what somebody else thought. So what gives one person's mind more authority or more influence than my own? Like, I don't actually have to accept this. I don't actually have to live this. I don't actually have to inherit this and make it real for myself, um because it's simply just that, like, it's someone else's truth, it's someone else's antidotal truth, and that's okay. And so I think that most of us are so deeply, like, we're so sentimentally connected to the things that our families gave to us and ideas and our society gave to us, that we deify these ideas to the point that we really believe they're almost divine and godly in a sense. And so when you talk to Christians and you challenge them on their Christianity, people will damn near want to shoot your head off and assassinate you, because you're busting their little bubble, and they need that bubble to exist, because that's been the way they've survived the world, is through whatever context they have for God, which comes through whatever religion they're affiliated with. Or if you challenge a man about his masculinity and his sense of masculinity, men would damn near want to kill you over that, because people literally have utilized these ideas to create a identity for themselves. And so people really take it personal when you're challenging the shit out of them. They take it personal when you're disintegrating what they feel is their very well-being. And my whole thing is, when you feel that disintegration and when you feel that challenge and you start to get riled up, like, know that if you surrender to that, there is a real you that's still there. People think that if I let this all go, CTV, if I restart my brain, if I divorce my ideas of Christianity, if I divorce my ideas about men, if I divorce my ideas about women, if I divorce my ideas about sexuality, if I divorce my ideas about the world, etc., that what will be left of me, the real you, will be left of you. And you get to choose what resonates with you on an intuitive and psychic level. You know, there are things that we all have that we inherited, and there are things that we've chosen because it feels, we can feel the truth, we can feel the power, we can feel the conviction of an idea or of a certain statement or reality or truth. The goal really is for you to kind of really follow the line of resonance for the rest of your life, to build a life that's sincere to you. Is divorce everything that you're just doing out of habit and stick with the things that truly move your soul and that feel organically true to you. But you also have to do a lot of unpacking. And so as Black people, simply what I encourage is acknowledge to yourself that you live in a society that has socially engineered you. If you may do the work and still come out and believe in Christianity, that's perfectly fine. You may do the work and still come back out with some of the things that you came in with. That's perfectly fine. But what I'm only thing that I'm encouraging is reevaluate everything you've been given and do it non-biasly. And if you still come up with some of the stuff that you came in with, that's cool. But I guarantee you as well, you're gonna come back up with shit that you did not have before you went down the road of self-discovery. Like, as Black people, we need to understand why certain things were given to us. Why was Christianity given to you? Where does your love for exotic women come from? What's rooted in that? Why do you prefer lighter skinned women? Where did your ideas around prettiness and beauty come from? Like, where do your own ideas as a man come from? Who gave you that? Who taught you that? Who, like, what events are connected to, like, literally you have to become a mad scientist about your own reality, and you have to be willing to ask yourself why do I do this? Why do I want that? Why do I desire this? And if people would just take the time to be introspective, they'll find that there are a lot of that there are events and systems that are responsible for why they feel and see the world that they in the way that they do. And so there really isn't like a real starting point, but it's more so just about understanding that, look, you just live in a matrix. You live in a virtual reality. You live in a artificial environment. And you don't have to be committed and obligated to what the culture gave. You don't have to see that as real. You don't we have to be able to vote for ourselves and say, I don't have to accept this. I don't give a damn if most black people believe this. I don't give a damn if most black people see it this way. I don't give a damn if the church sees it this way. I don't give a damn, just being able to have that personal autonomy and accept that I get to see things and experience things in a way that's truly genuine to my being and my soul, and not just adapt to things just because. So following your intuition, not being afraid of the unknown. This is a reason why repentance is a big part of most religions. Like, I know the word in the Bible for repentance is a metanoia, and it means to think about what you're thinking about. How many of us have really thought about our lives? How many people have thought about where their desires come from? Are there images and programs that contributed to your desire for this and for that? Are there cultural beliefs that influence you to live this way or to live that way? We already know that most people are a product of their environment. So if we are that much of a sponge and that much of a canvas, it means that probably the majority of the way in which we operate is not even due to any organic expression of our own, but is due to something manufactured and external to us. Somebody gave it to us. Somebody taught it to us. Somebody reinforced it to us, whether it's the larger institutions in media or whether it's the people who had governance over us, whether that be our mothers, our fathers, our brothers, our guardians, our churches, our community, etc. So you just have to take the time to really unpack yourself and start over. Like, I'm going to start over as a man. I'm going to start over as a spiritual person. I'm going to give myself a fair shot. I'm going to look at all of the evidence. I'm going to look at everything. I'm going to look into all of the spiritual systems. I'm going to look into all of the communities of blackness around the world and see the way that black men are showing up outside of America. Because I think on the stream that me and one community was on last night, I think it was a QT1 who said that as Americans, we are very arrogant because we tend to think that our system is the system because we live in a vacuum in a sense, and we don't realize that the rest of the world is happening, and that there are many different interpretations of what it means to be male. There are many different interpretations of what it means to be female. There's many different interpretations and roles and just ways of living and being that are afforded to human beings. But sometimes when you're stuck in a system and you're not cultured and you haven't really lived outside of your space and you haven't lived outside of your comfort zone, a lot of times we can believe that this is the way. And so just giving yourself a shot to go live, give yourself the opportunity to go experience, go do things that you don't think is you, go be a part of shit that you normally wouldn't be a part of. Give yourself a shot to see actually who you are, and not continue to hold up this avatar and live as an avatar and live as some total of mommy's ideas and the church's ideas and America's idea and the black community's idea of yourself, and really figure out what your weird ass self actually is. And the truth is, most of us are weird as fuck. Like, and we're just maintaining an image of coolness because we don't have the heart to be our true weird ass self, and we don't have the heart and the courage to live our life according to that weirdness, and take the L of being socially rejected, take the fucking L of being outcasted, because all of us are superficial L's anyway. Like, You only being rejected by other people who not themselves. You're not being rejected by anybody who truly is in touch with themselves. You're not being rejected by people who are truly conscious and lucid, because if they were conscious and lucid, they would be integrating and embracing you, not rejecting you. And so us trying to hold on to the admiration of those who are around us is really stifling on behalf of us. And then when we come down the road and realize that everybody around us is full of shit and nobody really loved us, and that all these people done cheated us and abandoned us in one way or another, we like to play victim and look stupid. But it's just like, we allowed that. We catered to that. We Of course, people are going to abandon you when you're in the business of abandoning yourself. You keep giving up on being a real you. So how the hell am I supposed to stick like grits? You ain't even sticking like grits to your own truth. You ain't even sticking like grits to your own identity. So there's nothing for me to hold on to. So of course I can use you. Of course I can exploit you. Of course I can do all of those things. I can objectify you, because you are being the objectified version of yourself. You are being the objectified version of your own man or of your own woman. So just divorcing everything and having a heart to be who the hell you truly is. I mean, it just has to come down to that, and teaching young people that it's okay not to be accepted. That no, you don't have to dye your hair, and no, you don't have to have the latest Jordans. Because once again, what we're doing is we're teaching people to walk right into the slaughterhouse. We're teaching them, look, be your fake self. Be the you that gets superficial adoration from these superficial, dense, low vibrating, low energy, low demonic ass individuals. Completely surrender to the system, and we don't teach our kids enough about self-identity and self-love, and encouraging them to be empowered by giving a middle finger to uh these systems, and teaching them that the teasing and the bullying that they experience as a result of being who they are is not even real. It's not real. And that they're only being teased by people who tease themselves and people who are disconnected from themselves, because them hoes ain't even real. Dumb individuals don't even have any real sense of self. And so start at just not trying to fit in. If you just live from that place alone, that I'm not going to try to fit in, I'm actually just going to be my fucking self. I'm actually just really going to be true to what I feel. And I'm just also going to give myself a shot to explore all these other systems, and to talk to people who I don't usually talk to, and to be in spaces I don't normally be in, and to do things I don't normally do. And I'm going to really give myself a shot at self actualization. Like, between those two things, exposing yourself to life and just being willing not to fit in, everything else is going to fall completely by the wayside. Everything will fall by the wayside. Don't try to fit in, and give your shot, and give yourself a shot to live. To live. So right now, what's your name? Octavius?
Yeah.
So let me ask you some questions. And of course I want you to answer them honestly. Is there a version of you that you show to your girl, that you show to your parents, that you show to your friends? And is there a different you that exists in your mind? Is there a different you that exists in spaces where
I'm
no one
glad
is?
that you asked that. um, when I was young, right,
Mm-hmm.
I had an idea of who I wanted to be when I was older. And I experienced traumas of losing friends. I experienced, like, most of my friends are dead or in jail doing life. I have a few on death row in Florida. You can look one guy up, Leonard, nicknamed Big Tree. You know, his name is Tree. He's on death row in Florida. Um, I experienced having a broken heart from a woman. But the thing is, with all the traumas that I experienced, I always had to go back and reset my mind to the point of where I was and who I originally was as a child. Outside of those traumas, I always knew that was what you call in psychology a baseline of who I was.
Mm-hmm.
So I think who I was when I was a child wasn't really, I know you were saying weird and, um, I mean, that's your perspective. But I think that when we go through a lot of schools of thought, like I done probably like with the conscious community, I probably know more doctrines than anybody in the conscious community. Um, the Morris stuff, the Wapianism, you know what I mean? Even when it comes to comedic history and history in general, I've been through a lot of schools of thought, but at the same time, and like even when you talk about masonry, you're talking about 360 degrees. It's the reason why certain levels of knowledge is 360 degrees, or what you even call 720 degrees, is because you come back to the same point and understanding where you was when you first were born, or who you was as a child is your true self and your true reality of who you are. And so, like sometimes when I was just talking to a friend yesterday about that, like when it comes down to trauma, when it comes to love, or when somebody comes into your life and wants to uh, cause trauma, and through heartbreak and heartache, or like you have lost friends, you always have to know who you are and who you was when you was a child, and like your idea of what you want in life. So I think that's more of a simple way of actually looking at it, because like even when you start talking about the consciousness, so for example,
Mm-hmm.
we talk about Christianity, or Christianity, for example, like I've heard all of the debunking of that religion, but then there's history of that religion. There's a historical Jesus. You know what I mean? There's 9 non-biased outside of the Bible references of the historical Jesus. From non non-religious, or secular texts or secular historians of this a particular figure. You know what I mean? So when we talk about certain things, we also always have to go back. Like I think the thing is, when we think about knowledge and we think about traumas, we should have in psychology, like I said, the baseline of that personality and who we are. You know what I mean? Outside of traumas, outside of experiences that could change us. You know what I mean? Because the thing is, the happiest point of my life is actually coming back to who I was and aligning myself with the true essence of who I was when I came into this earth. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. So, with that being said, um, like, what do you feel your ratio is of kind of like your authentic self to the self that you are for others? Like, do you feel like you are more of your baseline self, that you are back more to your authentic self, or like what's the ratio? Is it like a 50-50? Is it a 60-40?
Well, like I said, it's 320 degrees, but 360 degrees. You know, and that just give me back to the same point. I think that's the mastery of who. Like when you talk about mastering self, I think that is the mastery of self, is to actually experience the world and knowledge and have experience and everything like that, but maintain who you were. And maintain who you were when you came into this earth. The thing is, sometimes we get older and we realize what our parents taught us was facts, and sometimes we learn the hard way. From like going out and said we're gonna live this particular adventurous lifestyle, and then when we live it, there's repercussions for going against the wisdom of our parents that gave it to us in the beginning. Then that's what sometimes the depression comes in, the illicit drug use, the over sexualization of our minds comes from when we violate some of the things that was given to us even as children, because we realize we have sometimes betrayed our own selves. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, I divorced a lot of shit, and I remember feeling guilty about divorcing a lot of things. I remember when I started, when my mysticism began to manifest around 17, and I started having a lot of experiences outside of what was traditionally taught to me. And I was being downloaded with information that was kind of conflicting with what had been presented to me in faith. That I, I was at a Thanksgiving dinner, and my cousin Michael was just like stressing how, for example, that Christianity is the way, that it's the way, it's the way, and you know, and you need to believe this because your grandma believe it, and your da 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 believe it, and your da 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 believe it, and right there was like the problem, and it was crazy that he didn't know that that was the problem. It was so natural for him to be passionate about me accepting something just because of whoever else accepted it. And that's exactly what led me to telling myself that I'm going to revisit God on my own terms. So I had to let go of Christianity and also study the New Age, study paganism, study hoodoo, study Christianity, study Buddhism, study shamanism. Like studying the I Ching and Kabbalah, and I went into all of these systems because I needed to know if God was hiding under any of these rocks as well. I had never even given myself the opportunity to affirm my faith in Christianity because I had never even went anywhere else beyond Christianity, just like I had never went anywhere else beyond American standards or Black American standards. And so that's what I mean by that, like coming full circle is you may come back out with things that you already had. You certainly are going to come out with things that you never have had either. But the only way to get to the Rudy and the Tootie of your identity, or to even really create one, I should say, that is fulfilling for you, is for you to take the initiative to look at everything and to also realize that you get to experience, and like you get to honor your own personal experiences, and you have a right to claim whatever way of life that you feel is the most conducive and genuine to you. And but you have to look at it all. And some people have just been so trained to not go anywhere, and to stay on the so-called straight and narrow, to stay within the confinements of the approval of human beings, because that's really where it all comes down to, is be approved, please, be approved, please, be approved, please. Like, I don't break my heart by being something different than what I expect of you. Don't let me down by choosing something that I don't want for you. Please don't embarrass us. Like all of that pressure that we put on others. We should be ashamed of ourselves. And unfortunately, people believe that pressure is real, and people, because they love the people pressuring them, sometimes we will choose the culture, we will choose our parents, we will choose our church in place of what our soul would really have us choose. But you know, this is why Christ said, I haven't come to yield a sword of peace. I've come to separate you and to divorce you from your parents. I've come to take away the sons from their fathers. I've come to separate the daughters from their mothers. And he wasn't saying that from a place of contention, but he was saying, look, you are participating in like a herd mentality or in a hive mentality, and most of the things in the hives are completely bogus. So I'm going to have to separate you temporarily from this, deconstruct you, reconstruct you, and then have you reintegrate back into those systems and bring the real truth to the equation. And but most of us are just, we ain't trying to go nowhere. And
Let me ask you a question.
yeah.
How many, what do you think is the percentile of the people that believe in what you call Christianity or Islam or traditional religions that really truly follow the doctrine?
Ooh. See, that's a hard question because it's not possible that. So when you say doctrine, what does that mean? Because nobody can really follow.
Just say just Christianity and what the church preaches in that Baptist church or something like that. Let's
How
just
many?
say that. Like,
How
what do you
how
think are the percentage of the like people that go to church actually
uh
follow
actually
that?
follow?
Yeah,
Oh,
actually keep the tenets of that religion.
man.
I don't know. The numbers, bro.
I would definitely. I don't know if I feel safe giving a person because I really don't know. But what I will say is that I believe that most people follow a Judaism and the Abrahamic faiths based upon legalism. I don't really feel like it's a lot of performative Christianity. It's a lot of performative Christ likeness. And Christ was calling this issue out in the church in his day that you guys are performers. You guys are just white tombs, but you're dead and rotten on the inside. You have a form of godliness, but there's no reality and spirituality and substance to what you preach. Like y'all say that y'all are of me, but then y'all forsake the poor. Y'all say y'all are of me, but y'all forsake the lesser man. Y'all say that y'all are of me, but look at how you dress yourselves in your egos. There's nothing modest about you, are nothing modest about what's in your mind, or nothing modest in your points of attraction. And look at most of the church. The church is capitalistic itself. The church has one of the biggest booming economies in the world. Look at the Vatican. Look at all of the money that the black church is pouring in. Look at how the points of attractions of Christians. Look at their prayers. Their prayers are God. I want a house. I want a house with a pool. I want a BMW. I want fat checks. I want private planes. I want the rich and the golds. I like nobody is praying to be a better person. Nobody is praying to like what find me the Christians who are on their knees saying, God, help me understand this LGBT thing. Show me the Christians who are on their knees praying, God, help me to understand how what to do about the rights that sex workers should have. Like I want to know where are the Christians who really are confronting God and talking to
So,
God
so,
about
so what you're saying is that the real Christians are the minority, or the real believers of these particular or traditional faiths are the minority, and the majority of people are secretly living these types of lifestyles and being hypocrites. So,
well, I'm kind of more so saying that because I don't even think that the people who are hypocrites are intentionally hypocrites. I think that people are just really following. I think that they're following the hypocrisy that's been demonstrated to them. Like if you were raised up in a system where
yeah,
you
I
had
know what I'm saying is just so like what I'm saying is most people, whether they are hypocrites or not, are not following the tenets of these religions.
not sincerely, no, and the
Yeah.
biggest and
So
the
so
biggest
like so what I'm saying is for the what about for those who actually are following these tenets
mhm,
of these religions? You know, they can feel like a minority in this world today
for sure.
because of the fact that um, there are a lot of people that are professing to be certain things and they are not living their truth. And then you have a minority of people who are actually aligned and living that truth and happy with it. And that now they are the minority, and the majority are the people that are what you would call experiencing different experiences, living out these what you call the weird lifestyle. Um, so the thing is now, don't you think that that could be a form of prejudice in itself? Like just saying that these particular people who believe this certain way sincerely are closed-minded, because that was the same accusation that people say in the 80s when the LGBT movement first started. They were saying that people were closed-minded about particular sexualities or particular experiences. And now, from what I see, is the world has reversed, because the thing is like, I think that a lot of sincere believers in their faith are now feeling alienated about having faith or having a traditional faith that doesn't bother anyone, that's not discriminating against anyone. You know, like their belief does not violate the people who want to live a certain life at this point. You know, that's government protections, that's government laws. The government is more aligned with a secular idea of the world than it is now with a Judeo-Christian way of the world. And now the people who are having traditional beliefs, for example, you got the religious exemptions with certain things we know not to talk about, are now becoming alienated. Like these particular protections are now being eviscerated because most people don't really believe in these things. You know, most people are secularists at this point in time, and I think that when we make particular statements in the public, we have to be careful about not alienating people who are happy with their beliefs that don't violate other people's lifestyles or beliefs too. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. Do you feel like people were alienated or judged in this
Well, for
dialogue?
example, like if you live in New York,
Mm,
if you don't have a particular um, medical procedure, you can't experience certain uh, privileges of being a citizen of that city or that state.
right.
And that may coincide, and not having that procedure may coincide with your belief system. You get what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And now there is a form of the new era Jim Crow taking place because of people's particular beliefs. And they're becoming the minority, and they're becoming the the ones that's being discriminated against by the government.
Right. Well, I believe in personal liberty. I believe that people should have the right to feel and believe and practice and worship and live their lives however they see fit. My issue a lot of times is that systems like a governmental one or a religious one become authoritarian and then decide to dictate and infringe upon those personal rights. And I think, like, people wouldn't be in this position to begin with if, like, our society wouldn't be in this position to begin with if everybody would have, if we would have been more focused on the way that we live individually more so than mandating anything for the collective, because you're going to get into murky water, especially in America, where there's a huge, like, we are a melting pot and we're trying to create laws in a country that has 50 million 11 ethnic intersections, that have 50 million 11 religious intersections, that have 50 million 11 sexual intersections, that have 50 million, yeah, like,
Yeah.
and so America is in a bit of a pickle because of the way that America is set up and all of the communities that exist on this one plate together. Like, you got the meat, the vegetables, and the rice all on one plate together. You got the yams and the fried chicken, yes, all
Not
on
even
the plate.
one part. They squished in the side on the one
Yeah.
part. You gonna put my thing in the compartments? No, they all in one side. Like, come on.
Right. How do you legislate properly? How do you appease that much diversity under one umbrella? How do you serve that many people and make sure that the things put in place are as, I mean, and I guess all you can really do is paint a bunch of general laws. I mean, once you start getting specific, you're going to get some upheaval. You're going to get
a little pushback.
It's going to get interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. That's natural though. That's natural, but you know, it's a part of the process. It's all a part of the process. And I think that these are processes that need to happen with us. We need to be pushing for this, but I do appreciate builds like this one. I salute to y'all. You know what I mean? I salute to y'all. You know, it's King Jaffe Joes. King Jaffe Joes all the way around. King Jaffe, to be loved. To be loved. This for all my people in the chat, all my great leaders that is in that chat. All of the people here, you know what I'm saying? I understand what we're doing. And like I was just telling G, Gary, let us keep things on the subject matter. We all going to have personal gripes and issues and all type of stuff with people from other panels. When we come to one community, let us be one community. I don't want to go into certain things. Everybody got an issue. I was selling crack cocaine, picking up guns, wilding outside. Were you worse than me? No. So I don't want nobody talking about people. Like I come to you like that with all my fucking truth, transparent to you. You know what I'm saying? So if we do have a problem, or if we feel that anybody, we can assist someone, let us do the due diligence to assess someone. Because as a young man, this is what I'm trying to do with elders and young people. So I need my elders to take the onus to say, this is a younger person. When I was their age, was I listening? Okay, cool. So give a younger person more time, because anybody that's an elder had more time. That's why they are older than us right now. So listen now. Let's salute. As we are one family. We are all a family. That's what we have to understand. Sometimes people kick off. We have to give each other a grace period. Sometimes we're going to friction when you meet people. Some people you at work, you like, I can't stand this motherfucker. I can't stand him. And then you say, yo, you like them, same birthday, same. You say, damn, I can. Sometimes it's like that. We're going to have that initial friction. But let us vibrate past higher than that. Salute to all of y'all. King Jaffe, King Jaffe, King Jaffe. I'm gonna play a different record. I'm gonna play a record off my new album for y'all. You know what I'm saying? A different record, a new record off my new album. You know what I mean? I've been giving y'all exclusives. This is a record that I wrote, I song wrote. I'm actually doing a bridge on this record, so I'm not rapping. On my albums, you gotta look for me. Like I'm doing music, I'm doing background, I'm doing singing, I'm doing rapping, I'm writing, I'm doing all types of stuff. But I written, arranged this vocal record. Everything about it, I arranged the record. Is based on a relationship that I had about like 7 years ago. And it's called We Gonna Make It. And I feel like that about my people. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that about us. I feel like no matter what, we gonna make it. The sun gonna come out even when it's raining. We are gonna make it. And even if we travel the road less taken, which we have, I think that we gonna make it. Because I think that what we have is no mistaken. So this is why I feel that we're going to make it. So I just want y'all to listen to this record before we close out. We here live with Conscious TV and Octavius Prime. I need y'all to go subscribe to Octavius Prime. I need y'all to go subscribe to Conscious TV. I enjoy the great builds. I enjoy when we can come together and lift our mind. You already know we're going to be doing a lot of things, a lot of different conscious conversations. I'll be doing something with Prime. I am going to be doing something with Conscious TV, putting together. Conscious TV does a lot of different things, multiple arts, music, all types of stuff. Kind of person like me, multifaceted. So we will be working in multiple things, but this is what it's about. And I met this person yesterday, and this is what's going to show you. You're going to see us building like, damn, the motherfucker building like best friends. Yes, we building like best friends. Yeah. That's what it's about. I'm not listening to Drake talk about no new friend, no new friend. He lying. Everybody here's new friends. My people outside is ops. Everybody here is a new friend, and I salute to y'all. I love y'all, man, and I know that we gonna make it. This record features Destiny Mariah. She's the person that's on my Real Ones record. She has records with Ryan Leslie, so many people. She worked with BET, the channel. We got like 4 records. 2 is gonna be on this new album. So y'all check out how I write music. Y'all check about the relationship. Y'all check about the situation. So she's singing the whole song. I didn't want to sing on it. So the first verse is me in the relationship, thinking about how I was cheating, doing all the shit that I was doing when I had a woman in my life that was doing, because that's abuse. Cheating is abuse too. You're abusing souls, spirits, minds, emotions. Everything is abuse. So not understanding certain things, and then you kind of lose a person's love in that sense. Now you kind of running and chasing and want that back. And then the second verse is her kind of saying, look, all of this shit you did and all of that, you're going to go be with another person. But look, she ain't going to love you like this. And guess what? I bet your ass write a love song about this love that I got right here. And I end up writing a love song. And that's what this is about. We gonna make it. Destiny Mariah, all of us are gonna make it. I love y'all. I'll give my life for y'all, man. And I swear to my mother on that. My album's crazy. This is like the country infusion record on my album. Shit's crazy. I write all forms of music.
I was running game, now the game's on me. There's no one to blame but nobody but me. Cause I know that I did wrong, like
nobody heard this.
Wrong, but these wrongs made me right, I see. It's like I lost
your love, lost your love.
And I wanna get that back. Baby, how do I get that back? Sometimes we only talk about wrongs. I love we never talk about that. I wanna know if we can move on.
Trying to know if we can move on.
Never take back.
Take back.
More together is the more we break it. But
I'm playing air guitars, y'all. Don't fuck with me. And I got the cowboy hat right there. Don't fuck with me, cowboy.
We gon' make it, and even if we travel the road, let's take it. I know that we gon' make it, cause baby, I love and no mistaken. I know that we gon'
come to get a bag.
We gon' make it, no we. If we don't make it, no me. If we don't make it, sorry. If we don't make it, games not games on you. You don't feel in love.
This is her to me.
Don't love you.
She gon' do you wrong like you gon'
do me wrong. You gon' feel so bad.
You gon' write a love song.
Now I see you wanna make it right. Make it right. I wanna be left in your arms.
I'm sick of all the lonely nights.
I know that you be doing me wrong.
She said, I wish that you would do me right.
I love you, so I'm trying to move on.
She said, I love you, so I'm trying to move on. I miss it how it used to be tight, yo. Come on, son. And that's the fucking energy that the hood promote. They don't promote love. The hood promoting killing out there, son. I was out there, so don't tell me no dumb shit. Hey, go and be in love. No.
Even if we travel the road, let's take it. I know that we gon' make it, cause baby,
she like a songbird.
I know that we gon' make it. We gon' make it, no, we gon' make it.
That's how I feel about my people. I know that we gon' make this motherfucker. Look what I do on the record. I don't rap on this record. I do a rock bridge. Even if we lied, had another guy, baby, you know I'ma stay. And even if I cheated, you know I ain't mean it. Let's not go out this way. Everything we build, we managed to kill. Let's not throw this away.
Together is the more we break it. But I know that we gon' make it. Sun always comes up when it's raining.
Imagine I had all this shit and I was selling crack. I was in the street, damn near losing my life and about to take one. Woo. Most high, spirit ancestor, save me. My friend's dead, 20 years in jail, 100 years in jail. My man Nino, we did the same shit together. I'm dead serious when I'm here, y'all. I'm dead fucking serious, y'all. I want y'all to know that shit, man. My people's in a situation and I'm here for my fucking people.
Make it. We gon' make it.
Ooh, the block. Yeah, man, it's gonna be crazy, man.
That was dope as shit.
No albums.
That was dope as shit.
Appreciate you, conscious, right? See what I'm talking about?
Nice.
I never came in here telling y'all about that stuff. I made it about us because we are rising anyway. I have that. We have this. This is dumb. We have this. Yeah. It's not going to be as hard as we think it is. We're going to gain the people. Don't get it twisted. So if that brings people is in a click world. Oh shit, who's that Nina? Who's that Davies? Who's that Troy Lanez? I have music with every fucking body. It's not that serious. Y'all don't even understand that. Shit is out of here when I'm ready. I'm waiting. We're building right now. And then once we drop all of that, that's going to help us to live. That's what's going to help us to monetize everybody's fucking channel. They done. We about to break the fucking world. We about to change this shit. We about to change this shit. And I'm finally ready to give my life for that shit. So I just want y'all to know that. I just want y'all to know that. I love y'all. I love y'all. I love y'all. I got a panel that's going to be going on Daughter of the Sea, DOTS, Daughter of the Sea. He has a men's panel. She asked for me to be a part of it like a couple of weeks ago. So we were supposed to do it last night or something. I don't know. But Yeah, we have a panel that's going on 4 o'clock today on Daughter of the Sea. Make sure you go over there and subscribe. Daughter of the Sea. Subscribe to Conscious TV. Yeah. All right. We're going to be building a lot. I'm going to call him a little bit later as soon as I run back in the house. Octavius Prompts. Make sure you subscribe. Salute. Kat, make sure you go and subscribe to Kat's channel. You know what I'm saying? This is what it's about. It's about us moving forward. I don't want nobody looking nobody from the past. Once y'all coming in here with me, we going to move past that shit that y'all got going on. We going to build together, men, women, and children. We going to rise together. We going to make history. This is what we're here to do. We're not here to just watch Martin and Malcolm and see about what Gandhi them did. I get it. But they left blueprints for us. Some people like pink, some people like red. Whatever color print you want, take it. But they left a print for us. So we need to take that, follow some blueprints of things that work. Let's go. Let's go. This is the change. Everybody that you're watching now will be the big YouTubers that you're seeing right now, man. I need Prime to go and just put one video, a new video, fresh, a little quick thing if he's talking, and upload that. So when the people come there, they see something relevant right now today. This is the type of things we're doing. Everybody will monetize at the same time. We will lift off. We will get a bag. We will break generational curses. We will gain some generational wealth. And that's what it's all about, y'all. I love y'all for real. Honestly.
Hey, thank you for having me. Thank you.
Always appreciation. Conscious TV. Make sure you subscribe. I'm gonna call him later because I'm trying to figure out when we can get the next bill. Because you right back. Fuck you talking about boomerang. Well, you right back.
All right, man.
Some of that music, and I want to hear some of that music. You know the Octavius. You know I love you, man. And I want to hear some of that music, Conscious. I want to hear some of that music. So make sure.
I got you.
Email me something too. So I can check something too.
All right.
Bop, bop. Yes, I need that. Make sure you email me on that. I love y'all. I love Conscious. I love Prom. This is what it's all about. I'm going to leave that right there to make sure that y'all subscribing. This is what this channel was built for. This channel was built not for me. I have my own personal channel. I have 35 YouTube channels. So this channel was built for us. People say they have the people's channel, but the channel don't embody what this does. I've helped even everybody that say that. No, you don't. I created overlay screens for you, the graphics for your channels and shit. I did that for y'all for free. No one does shit for free. Y'all charge for every goddamn thing. What the fuck? You don't think I need a bag? I was just selling crack, nigga, making money. I like money too. The fuck? I love looking good and smelling good. I like smelling like Gucci and shit too. The fuck? Not Gucci, because I don't fuck with them. But I'm just saying though, I like smelling really good. You feel me? This is just the point. So at the end of the day, man, let us lift our voices together. Let us lift our voices together and understand this one special thing, which is the mantra of this channel, right? It's one love, one voice, and one community. We have to understand that we have one love. We are a family, all of us, even some of these people, and we like, why is this person in my family? That's that person that you're dealing with outside. That's that person in your family. Yes, yes. And we have to understand that we're one voice because we want unity, but sometimes we can't get each other together just to eat a fucking dinner and everybody on their smartphones. See how that goes? Okay, cool. So once we unify our voice on topics, on commonalities, on goals and things that we have that plague us as a people, not just as individuals, we're going to understand that we are one voice. And then that's when we're going to build that one community that we're looking for. See how that works? I love y'all. Honestly, I do. Everything I do is for y'all, for me, and for my children, and for my mom. They're all black. They're melanated like us. Yeah? Okay. I want to help all people around the world. People that are on the side of right. I don't care the color. If you're not on the side of right, even if you're black, get the fuck out of here. Period. That's how I feel about you. If you're not on the side of right, white, black, any of it, go. You got to go. That's how I feel. You know what I mean? Because right has its own color, but I am here for my people that's melanated to vibrate. I'm here to help save my people, and I want everybody to come out and help save their people. That's what it's about. I love y'all. Bless y'all. Bless y'all. Honestly, bless y'all. Let me give y'all Jaffe Joe before I go. Jaffe Joe, to be loved. Oh, what a feeling to be loved. Love y'all. Honestly, I love y'all, man. Salute, man. Subscribe to One Community. Remember, Daughter of the Sea. I'm going to be there at 4 o'clock. We got a men's panel, so I just want to get myself together. That's why I ended this now. I'd have kept Conscious TV and Prime Building all day. That shit was good. That's why I stepped out. He like, what the fuck you stepped out? But yeah, so like I said, it was a powerful build. I love y'all. I love them. Daughter of the Sea, 4 p.m. I'm going to be there, and we're going to have a great discussion. So make sure that y'all come and show your support. I will be doing a PSA, so you can see it on my channel too as well, like maybe in my community tab. Make sure you check in the community tab. I love y'all. I love y'all. One love, one voice, one community. Peace, one community.